Smoky Valley tennis, a tradition unlike any other. Perhaps one of the most dominant sports dynasties in the history of Kansas. It is hard to tell how the Smoky Valley High School tradition began. Possibly, it began from the Bethany College tennis team, which gave the town a tennis reputation. Since 1953, the Smoky Valley boys have placed top 4 as a team 16 times, placing first 7 times. 15 times a doubles team has won, and 7 men have won the singles championship. Continuing the tradition for many years, however, Ron Dalston, player and longtime coach for the high school. In 1976, Coach Dalston earned the reward for Kansas Tennis Coach of the Year, also being a finalist to receive the National Tennis Coach of the Year award as well. Eventually, Coach D becomes a tennis celebrity in Lindsborg, and the high school tennis complex has now been named in his honor. Coach D still keeps in touch with the tennis team and is present at many practices to see how the team is doing.
He's influenced me not just with the game of tennis, but he was also my coach in high school, and he taught me a lot about life. He taught me a lot about tennis, obviously, and then I was fortunate enough to work with him in the colleague, teaching with him, and then also he was my assistant coach for several years. And so we developed a really close relationship through that because, as you know, as a player and a coach, there's a different relationship than if you have a coach. And so I've been really fortunate to have spent the last 20 years working with him and learning a lot about life.
It's always taught you to be a better player, better coach, better person. Taught you how to enjoy the game so you can play it just outside of high school and college. It's always been there to talk about anything you think of, and he's a good role model for people.
Coach D served as tennis coach for 40 years, being head and assistant, helping to produce 21 state championships, singles, doubles, and team combined.
Being part of the tradition at Smoky Valley High School it's a pretty good feeling. You really feel accomplished when you're a part of something like that. You can look back at the walls, at the plaques, and you can see that Smoky Valley has done a pretty good job in tennis over the past quite a few years. And it's really nice to be able to not only look back and see what all our school has done, but also to be able to be like, I was a part of that tradition. And that 20 years from now, kids will be looking back at that board and they'll be able to see my name on it. And it's a pretty neat experience. It's really nice to be able to be a part of something bigger than yourself.
To be part of the tradition of Smoky Valley tennis, it's fun, but it's also a responsibility because of all the great players and coaches who have come before us who are playing now. It's fun to have your name already out there. People know who Smoky Valley is, especially on the tennis court. But it's also a responsibility because we've done so well in the past. You don't want to let the level of play drop and just go on reputation. You want to still be able to maintain a solid level of play.
Gosh, winning the state tournament was one of the best things I ever had in my life. I just remember the whole tournament, and I can just remember so many of the plays that we made and that we missed. And my partner and I, we played a lot of really close matches, and it was really something to get to the finals, and then just to be a part of that team. You really grow close to people when you experience something like that.
It feels amazing. Anytime you can accomplish something like that with 5 of your best friends, it's an incredible feeling. And to be able to do it twice is just, that's more than anybody could ask for. It's the guys that were on those teams, we were all really good friends, and it's just something we'll be able to share for the rest of our lives. It's just a lot of fun.
The new Ron Dalston Tennis Complex began construction. This has been a positive event for both the Smoky Valley High School and the city of Lindsborg. A lot of money and hard work went into the project, but it paid off in the end. The new complex added 2 new courts, restrooms, 2 water fountains, a concession stand, a stadium court, and a shelter. A sound system was put in as well, making it possible for both information and entertainment.
If you look on there on any given night, you got kids playing there. We got 4 courts with lights on there, so every day after practice we have at least a couple families coming up there sometime throughout the day and using the courts to the best of their ability.
We haven't ever done anything with the tennis facility, other than put a sign up there and call it the Ron Dahlstein Tennis Complex. We haven't done anything to upgrade it. We've been wanting restrooms out there and water fountains for years and years and years, but we've never done anything about it. And I started seeing other places in the state getting new facilities, and here we are being one of the best in the state with tradition in tennis, and we don't have a facility that we're proud of. So it really was just a thought in my head one morning. I thought, man, what could we do? And from that thought, I called up the superintendent, and I got Mr. Abel and Mr. Williams together, and I was about ready to show them tell them what I wanted to do.
However, whether or not the courts will ever be able to be expanded upon again.
If we expanded it more, we'd probably have to go to the well, actually, you could actually take a little bit of the parking lot. Mm-hmm. If we took the parking lot and then move the parking lot over here where the football field is, and then move our varsity, our football over here where the junior high plays, and then over here where the softball field is, the junior high can have practice. We could add a couple more courts, but that is really far down the line. Mm-hmm. I think it's just, in our community, the size of our community, to have what we have is pretty good. To add another 2 courts, especially with the numbers going down, that's concerning. We need to be able to justify having all these courts, and I don't want to go out to practice and have 2 or 3 courts sitting there not being used because we don't have enough people.
The new courts really symbolize that we probably have the best complex in the state. If you look at it, we got 8 courts at the high school with a championship court that always symbolizes, you're playing on the prime time circuit type stuff. We got a surround system that people can come and look at or listen to when the matches are going on, and restrooms outside, concession stands, so it's always a bonus to have that kind of facility.
We have definitely one of the top 3 facilities in the state, and it's really exciting. When I look out there, I just want to go pick up a racket. It's it pumps me up.
Gosh, yes, I love the new courts, and we're hosting state this year because of the new courts, and that's going to be fun. I'd like to make it back there this year, but the new courts are nice. We've got a great facility. It really gives you something to look forward to every day when you're going out to practice. You know that when people come from other schools, they'll be like, oh, this is a pretty sweet complex they've got there. We hang up our little Vikings flag every day, and that's pretty awesome.
The tradition at Smoky Valley has taken very hard work throughout the years in Lindsborg. Fortunately, there are people in the town that are willing to keep the tradition alive, from teaching young kids the game to helping construct the new complex, or even just coming and watching the meets. The future of Smoky Valley tennis should be something to look forward to.